Lightning strikes near White House, kills 2, injures 2 others. So this is from Fox 4 Dallas Fort Worth News, from the one of those news channels. So we're going to check out a couple of news channels, Akim. This is to do with some of these lightning strikes we're hearing about. So far, the latest I've heard is 3 out of 4 died from the lightning strike outside there in DC, outside the Washington White House. We're going to catch up with some of this. So we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Harakakwadash. Give double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And yes, the house of David is rising in the year of turn up.
This morning, we want to get right to 2 people killed, 2 others badly hurt in a lightning strike. It happened as they stood under a tree right near the White House. The bolt of lightning hit the ground at Lafayette Square Park. It was captured right there on video. U.S. Park Police and Secret Service uniform officers saw what happened. They ran over to the 4 people. It was 2 men and 2 women. Again, we do know 1 couple was killed. Police say the other 2 people who died are still in the hospital. They have life-threatening injuries. The 2 who passed away, we know, were from Wisconsin.
Right, so that's that was around August, mid-August or early August. 2 were stricken, 2 died, but so since then 3 has died. Let's check out this article. This is another article from the NBC News. A little bit more, I think it's a day later. 3 people killed in lightning strikes near White House.
We are here at Lafayette Square. This is the tree that was hit by lightning last night. You can see the damage. We spoke to medical professionals who just happened to be here when the storm hit. This video taken from the Washington Monument shows the severe lightning storm Thursday night. Lightning hit this tree just steps from the White House, critically injuring 4 people. This couple from Wisconsin died from their injuries. Relatives say Donna and Jim Mueller, both in their mid-70s, were high school sweethearts. They were in D.C. for their 56th wedding anniversary. A 3rd person, a 29-year-old man.
Yeah, so there was on in years, up in their 70s. We're going to read a precept, man. Yeah, to start the ball rolling. These are all judgments. You know, the word is surgical strikes. These are surgical strikes from on high in the year of turn up. Nehemiah 1 and 2 says, Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he revengeth wrath and reserveth wrath for his enemies. So see these people there, he's them up in age, up in their 70s, was it?
People. This couple from Wisconsin died from their injuries. Relatives say Donna and Jim Mueller, both in their mid-70s, were
in the mid-70s. The Lord is slow to anger. Yeah, he let you get on. He let you get old in your age. What you done in your young years will always catch up with you. From the Most High, as it says that the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and he will not at all acquit the wicked. You ain't gonna get to walk out of court, not when it comes to the Most High's court. The Lord have his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and in the clouds are the dust of his feet. He controls the lightning, he controls the clouds, he controls the thunder. So this is going to be just a couple of clips we're going to look at on the surgical strikes of the Most High. There is fire in the earth, and is otherwise described, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, or Yahushai, or Yahweh, is described as a consuming fire, and he will not at all acquit the wicked.
Donna and Jim Mueller, both in their mid-70s, were high school sweethearts. They were in D.C. for their 56th wedding anniversary. A 3rd person, a 29-year-old man, has also died.
Well, looking this direction, I saw first kind of a thunderball in the tree, and then heard the booming and saw people just falling down.
Alexander Brands is a doctor visiting from Germany.
It was like being in a movie. People just falling down from lightning strikes. Oh boy, this is the Most High's movie is getting more and more dramatic. A 29-year-old man who they're finding out was some form of bank man or some form of bank manager or something to do with the bank. So 3 of them died altogether. 3 people out of 4 died, and 1 survived.
And has also died.
Well, looking this direction, heard, well, actually I saw first kind of a thunderball in the tree, and then heard the booming and saw people just falling down.
Alexander Brands is a doctor visiting from...
That's how easy it is for the Most High when he wants to bring his judgment. You know, people just fall left, right and centre, man. People just fall over. Just like a house of cards come tumbling down, man, or them dominoes, you know. When you build up them little, or the sand castles, when you build up them sand castles, you just, all it takes is for one person just to come and just put his foot in it, and it just all comes tumbling down. That's Psalms 91, man. 10,000 shall fall at their right hand and 1,000 at their left. It's just so easy. 29-year-old also succumbed to his injuries.
29-year-old man has also died.
Well, looking this direction, heard, well, actually I saw first kind of a thunderball in the tree, and then heard the booming and saw people just fall.
Yeah, that sounds just like a movie. The thunderbolt and then the booming and and then the motorcycle he tore it up.
I saw first kind of a thunderball in the tree, and then heard the booming and saw people just falling down.
Alexander Brands is a doctor visiting from Germany. He and his wife were close by, getting a look at the White House on their first day here. He knew he had to do something.
Then I ran, obviously, being a doctor, working in an emergency unit as well, just ran over here and tried to help.
So that's what you call a doctor, a falsifier. But in this case, he was there. The Most High wanted him to be there to be a credible witness of his power. And he was shooken up, no doubt. Many people falling over left, right and centre.
Do something.
Then I ran, obviously, being a doctor, working in an emergency unit as well, just ran over here and tried to help.
Brands says he did chest compressions on a woman and assisted as multiple people, U.S. Park police officers and Secret Service officers with AEDs, tried to revive those hit by the lightning strike. Dr. Alistair Martin is a fellow at the White House who was leaving work when the storm hit.
Heard the thunder and saw the lightning at the same exact time. I said, I got to get the hell out of here.
But then he learned people had been hurt and knew he also had to help. He took this photo.
Another credible witness there.
Was leaving work when the storm hit. Tried to revive those hit by the lightning strike. Dr. Alistair Martin is a fellow at the White House who was leaving work when the storm hit.
Yeah, you could have been you. Yeah, all you people working in the White House, doing all your left-hand side business, what you're doing there. Corruption and falsifying and all the other things that you do that you think going under the radar. The Most High see everything. So that was a little a little warning for you, working in the White House.
Hit by the lightning strike. Dr. Alistair Martin is a fellow at the White House who was leaving work when the storm hit.
Heard the thunder and saw the lightning at the same exact time. I said, I got to get the hell out of here.
But then he learned people had been hurt and knew he also had to help. He took this photo of the desperate efforts to save lives. He called the actions of the Secret Service officers heroic.
You know, we began CPR and eventually were able to get 2 of the people's heart rhythms back before I left, before we handed them back over to the ambulance.
Several people, including an ER nurse here on vacation, rushed to help, even as the rain poured and lightning streaked across the sky. The White House issued a statement saying their thoughts are with the families who lost loved ones here, and they're praying for those who are still fighting for their lives. At Lafayette Square, Darcy Spencer, NBC News.
All right, so judgments, left, right and centre, hitting them.
Overnight.
Surgical strikes. Here's another article. Just want to get as much as I can just to catch up to date with this, because you ain't hearing nothing about this. You know, this should be on mainstream news. You should be hearing about this. Well, we're gonna do it. Lightning strikes near the White House. Just to get as much as we can out of this, much detail, because the Most High, we know the Most High is real, but this movie is gonna get more and more dramatic. This was a day before the other article we just looked at, so but there's still some little intricate details we want to pick out of this. The Most High don't play, is a consuming fire. It says 4 critically injured at storm's impact, millions in the US. Oh yeah, the thing over there with the storms in the Kentucky, the flash floods over there in the Kentucky, and also the fires, the consuming fires, which are all set off by the Most High, by his chariots, his so-called UFOs, his UAPs. He sets them off, and all it takes is one little laser to ignite everything. Just check this out.
Overnight, at least 4 people were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries after they were apparently struck by lightning near the White House.
I saw at least 4 people lying on the ground, and medics were giving them artificial respiration, literally jumping on their hearts.
The victims all in Lafayette Square, standing near the Andrew Jackson statue when a storm rolled through.
Off to the left of the statue as you're looking towards the White House.
Members of the Secret Service and Park Police jumping into action.
Immediately began to render aid to the 4 victims, which is very critical in helping with survivability.
One expert describes the lightning strike as a 6-stroke flash, meaning that 6 individual surges of electricity hit the same spot within half a second. The storms in D.C., not the only severe weather. Across the country, in Arizona, this palm tree bursting into flames after being hit by lightning. Heavy rain triggered flooding and collapsed the roof of this grocery store. These images show the damage inside. But the heat is the biggest weather story this morning. 70 million Americans are under heat alerts. Record temperatures near 100 are possible again in the Northeast, and it will be even hotter in the middle of the country from Texas to North Dakota. In the West, the hot and dry conditions are fueling this wildfire near Spokane, Washington. At least 10 homes have burned down, and the entire town of Lynn, Washington, was being evacuated. And in Northern California, the state's largest wildfire, burning near the Oregon border, is clearly visible from space. Meanwhile, much of Texas is seeing its hottest summer on record. Fire crews in one area responded to 28 wildfires Wednesday alone. People were
All right, so yes, as Dylan just said, when the sun come down and the earth get hot, the earth is like a melting pot. Yes, and Big Youth said, let it burn. There is no more water to put out the fire. Yeah, man, all these fires from Benjamin, all these tunes from Benjamin talking about fire. Because we know fire it talks. What's more powerful than fire? You got the elements, man. One of the elements, fire and water. You can't play with none of them. Yeah, and the Most High says he's a consuming fire, and that's in Hebrews. Hebrews. As a matter of fact, let's go to it. And we're going to play this last clip. The Most High is a consuming fire. Deuteronomy 4:24 says, for the Lord our God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. And also in Hebrews 12:29, for our God is a consuming fire. That's why Benjamin's talking about that fire. Yes, that's the fear that the Benjamin have then, the Benjaminites. The fear that they have. Yeah, they know fire is not something to play with. That's why there's a whole heap of Benjamite songs on fire, and that's a natural inbuilt fear of the Lord that we have, you know, which is on my mother's side. They're Benjamites. But yeah, the last one here.
Lightning. This happened right across from the White House at Lafayette Park, with plenty of witnesses who could have also been victims.
Scary situation. Our Jess Arnold.
Yeah, and this clip is from WUSA 9 news article.
Is there live for us this morning with the very latest. Jess, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, as of this morning, 4 people are in critical condition from that lightning strike. 2 men, 2 women. Again, they were hit in Lafayette Park.
Yeah, just to make a correction there. Since then, 3 have died, and there's only 1 remaining survivor of that. 4 people being struck by lightning.
Across from the White House last night, a little bit before 7 o'clock, and a witness actually told our team that all 4 of the people injured were under a tree when they were struck. DC Fire and EMS says U.S. Park Police officers and Secret Service members witnessed the strike too, and immediately rushed to help them. Now, the witness told us that medics were aggressively performing CPR to try to get them to breathe, and Fire and EMS says that they actually used an external defibrillator. Now, they couldn't tell us yet who the victims are. Of course, as soon as we have that info, we'll pass it along to you. But DC Fire also reminded us that a similar incident happened in June 2020 when lightning struck the Washington Monument.
There was an incident that also took place at Lafayette Park when the National Guard was here present during... Yeah,
and I done a video on this too, with 2 National Guards that were struck by lightning. they also ended up in hospital, severely injured. The Most High allowed them to live, if I'm not mistaken. I done a video on that. But you know, that was the Most High giving them two, as what the elder he suggested, might have been the case. Those two centurions could have, or the soldiers back then, or the centurions today, could have been the same ones that allowed Yahushua to be pierced. Yeah? As it says, when he comes back in Revelations chapters 1 and 7, his enemies are going to behold him. So he had to allow them, to allow for prophecy to be fulfilled. He's allowing them, same ones who pierced him on the cross or the stake, to survive, so that when he come back, you ain't gonna meet them as a man and gonna get revenge. And this happened in 2020, as they're saying. Yeah, the same place. This is the year of turn up.
Passed along to you, but DC Fire also reminded us that a similar incident happened in June 2020 when lightning struck the Washington Monument.
There was an incident that also took place in Lafayette Park when the National Guard was here present during when we were having issues here in the district, and we had some guardsmen who were struck by lightning, also here in Lafayette Park.
Yeah, Most High don't play, man. He ain't gonna quit the wicked. Yeah, a little taster of what is to come. Yeah, before the icing on the cake comes. First, we know prophecies are being fulfilled. They're introducing the MOTB now, right? It's not mandatory, but they're sliding it in. They're finding ways of sliding it in. First, they're mentioning these, what they call the MP, as you know what that is, and they want to make that to be a pandemic, not just an epidemic, but a pandemic, a national threat to society, so that everybody could be under that fear, so that people are going to get that, you know what, the MOTB, problem, reaction, solution. So we know prophecies are popping off in the year of turn up. And he's doing videos on this subject, surgical strikes. You can't play with the Most High, you know.
Info will pass along to you, but DC Fire also reminded us that a similar incident happened in June 2020 when lightning struck the Washington Monument.
There was an incident that also took place in Lafayette Park when the National Guard was here present during when we were having issues here in the district.
So are you not afraid? You will be, right? As Yoda said to Luke Skywalker, are you not afraid? I'm not afraid. You will be. You will be.
There was an incident that also took place in Lafayette Park when the National Guard was here present during when we were having issues here in the district, and we had some guardsmen who were struck by lightning, also here in Lafayette Park.
I'm not afraid. You will be. You will be.
Now, we have more storms rolling in tonight, as Chester said, so here's some safety advice from the National Park Service. If you get caught outside in one of these storms, head inside. That is the #1 thing. Keep moving toward...
All right, so they're not quite afraid yet, not properly yet, but they will be. As Yoda said to Luke Skywalker, right? He said he's not afraid. And Yoda, the Grand Master, said to him, you will be. You will be when you see the vengeance coming. When you see Yehovah Shemel Shai. Psalms. Let me get it. Let me get the precept. I don't want to butcher it. When Yehoshua come back, Psalms. I think it's Psalms 83. Yeah. No, it's not. It's Isaiah. Get the dust off this one. Isaiah 60. Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63 says, yeah. And 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom? You're not afraid? You will be. You will be. From Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah. Thus, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Where art thou red in thine apparel? and thy garments like him that treadeth in the winepress. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. Their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my remnant. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. You will be, when Yehovah Shemashah starts to come in his glorious apparel. Yeah, who is this that cometh from Eden with dyed garments from Bozrah, that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength? Right, and that's he's gonna come back with the angels, man, in the so-called UFOs, the chariots. Right, you're gonna be afraid, very much afraid. Yes, you will be. So yeah, one more, another article to do with fire. This one's to do with fire. This particular one is 77 hurt. 17 firefighters reported missing in Cuba as fire rages at oil tank farm. More little bits of fire, just to let you know, this is the Most High's movie, and he's turning it up right now. Without further ado.
We begin this evening with breaking news out of Cuba. At least 17 firefighters are unaccounted for, and dozens of civilians on the island are injured after lightning struck a crude oil tank, causing a huge fire and at least 4 explosions.
Incredible video. Let's get right out to Local 10's Hatzo Vela. He joins us live from the newsroom with our top story this afternoon. Hatzo, what do we know so far?
So here's the breakdown, Laren and Sonella. The fire so massive, 800 residents have been evacuated from a neighborhood closest to the disaster, and up to this point, the government reports 77 injured. What's heartbreaking here, of course, is 17 at this point are missing. The videos keep coming, this one reportedly of rescue workers running from the massive fire. These are the images transmitted on Cuban state-run television. The government says the fire was set off by a lightning strike at an oil storage facility in the city of Matanzas, which is about 65 miles east of Havana. The Cuban military showing these aerials where you get the sense of how widespread this fire is. Cuban-run media says the lightning hit one tank, then the fire spread to a second tank. You could see choppers dropping water on the blaze. The dense column of smoke billowed from the facility and spread westward, even reaching Havana. Here's a couple of pictures up close. No word on how much oil has burned at the facility, which has 8 giant tanks to hold oil used to fuel electricity generating plants. Cuba's president, seen on state-run television, getting an update on the injured. The video of the injured is hard to watch. This man says after the explosion, they had to leave. Even the truck he was in caught fire. And so tonight, a rare move from the Cuban government. They're asking for international help. Tonight, the U.S. government says we're in touch with Cuba about the incident in Matanzas. In the meantime, we want to make clear that the U.S. law authorizes U.S. entities and organizations to provide disaster relief and response in Cuba. The Cuban president says he is thankful to the U.S. for offering help. And as you know, we have been following this story since last night. Since it broke, you can follow me on Facebook.
All right. So the year of turn up is turning up for these devils, man. They're asking for help. There ain't going to be no salvation for them. They ain't going to be able to get help. The US ain't going to be able to help them. The Most High is furious in his anger. Yes, upon all the nations. Let's read another precept. Isaiah 34:2 says, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Right, so if it's upon all nations, how they going to help each other? The Most High going to turn it all up on all of them. Right, that's all the nations, including Cuba. Right, firefighters reported missing. Was that 17 firefighters reported missing? 77 hurt. 17 reported missing. Probably got burned up in the consuming fire in Cuba as fires rage at the oil tanks. Right. So they are very, very vital. The oil tanks are vital for their electricity, what they use. Their tanks, the oil tanks. His nations and his fury upon all their armies. Right. He have utterly destroyed them, and this is prophecy. He have delivered them unto the slaughter. Right. And there's more prophecy on Edom, on Adawam or Edom in the Greek. In 5, jump down to 5, it says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, upon the people of my curse. That's why you're hearing these lightning strikes. And the movie is turning up. It's getting more dramatic. It shall come down upon Idumea, the people of my curse, to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and the word, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams, for the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Prophecy. But this is just a taste of what is to come. Right, we know the one in 1 Samuel 2 and 6 says that the Most High, he killeth, he maketh alive. We're going to go to the one in Isaiah. I haven't read this for a little while. Isaiah 45 and 7 says, I form the light, I create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Concerning surgical strikes, I thought that was an appropriate precept to bring out. So yes, man, the Most High is turning up in the year of turn up. The Most High is a consuming fire, and he's bringing it. So the people, them, they're worried. But are they afraid? If they're not afraid right now, they will be. They will be, said Yoda in the Star Wars movie. So they're going to be afraid, because the Most High don't acquit the wicked. He shall not acquit the wicked. They ain't going to be able to walk out of this one, or slide out of this one, or find himself not guilty out of this court, the high court of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. So I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yoshai for giving me the spirit to do this video. The house of David is rising, and Shalak Ryan, fire, fire burn, all wicked. Wa Ashim, all call Wayabanawa, fire upon all my enemies. All call Adawam, and all the Edoms, the wicked. And we on to the next one. Shalom.